What do Manchester United, Manchester City, Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, Leicester and Blackburn Rovers all have in common? They have all won the Premier League. While 6 of these 7 currently reside in the Premier League, Blackburn Rovers are favourites for relegation from the Championship to EFL League One. Rovers are struggling to gain crowds over 13,000, and despite selling star player Adam Wharton for 20 million to Palace just 6 months ago, they currently have not made a single signing in the transfer window. It's absolutely mad to think that Blackburn Rovers were once champions of England, so we absolutely need to bring some pride back to Ewood Park. So we are taking charge of Blackburn in FC24 and we are going to win them a UCL trophy. Remember, if you do enjoy the content, boys, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel, as it really does help me out. We are really close to 3,000 subscribers. Let's get Blackburn rebuilt. So this is the Blackburn Rovers team we have loaded into, and I have to say, lads, this team is awful. Our best player is Sammy Schmodics, who had an excellent season in the Championship last year. However, he is currently in talks with Ipswich Town at the time of recording and could be leaving Blackburn. As he's still currently a Blackburn player right now, we are keeping him. Now, this squad is built to play 5 at the back. To change the formation, I would have to sign so many wingers and normal fullbacks. So we are going to stick with the 5 at the back formation, and we haven't actually used the 5 at the back for a long time. Now, the squad on paper is pretty poor, but one thing that is a massive saving grace is that the average age of the squad is actually very good, with so many players under 21 years of age, and we're literally looking at over 70% of the squad being under 25, so there's a lot of room to develop these current players that we've got. Our standout young talents are striker Harry Leonard, who's 19-year-old and 65 rated, Jake Garrett, who is 20-year-old and 66 rated, and centre-back Hayden Carter, who's 23 and 70 rated, so he looks like a really good player as well. Now, we do currently have 4 players on loan at the club in Billy Kumiento, Yassin Ayari, Ben Krizien and Andrew Moran. There is a slight chance that we could make Yassin Ayari's loan deal permanent, as we do need a central midfield player in this window, but I have not yet decided if I want to bring him in permanently or not. As looking at that team, we do have to make some signings in Season 1 to give us any chance of Championship survival. I'd like to bring in a central midfield player. Also, I think in this window, a centre-back and a central midfield player will be key in giving us a chance of survival in the Championship, and young players like Carter and Leonard will be straight in the starting 11, as I want them growing as quick as possible. And we will have a transfer budget of £14 million to bring players to the club. And before we get into transfers, we've decided on a tactical vision, and we are going to go for the counter-attack system, as this team is just not good enough to dominate the ball, so we're going to sit back, soak up pressure and hit teams on the counter. So kicking off our first transfer window as Blackburn Rovers boss, we have identified a central midfield player, and he currently plays in the Portuguese league. His name is Koba Lien Coindrede. He's 70 rated, 21-year-old. He looks very attack minded, which I do like. Very good potential in FC24, and he is going to come in at anywhere under £4 million. I think this is a very cheap deal for such a good high quality young player, and we are definitely bringing him to Ewood Park. And we have brought Coindrede to the club for just £3.5 million, which is an absolute steal. Now we are left with 10 million in the bank to bring in a centre back, and we have identified that centre back, and he currently plays for Leeds United. Charlie Cresswell, 20-year-old, 70 rated, got really decent defensive stats, and he's very affordable, coming in anywhere under 3.5 million. Not really getting a look in at Leeds United despite being such a promising young player, so we're going to give him a fresh start at Ewood Park. Now, interestingly, Leeds wanted Sodre Tronstadt as part of the deal, and we don't actually use CDM, so that's worked out really well for us, as we've only had to give Leeds £1 million. So Tronstadt has gone to Leeds, we've brought Cresswell in, and we do still actually have £9 million in the bank. Now that we've added Cresswell and Coindrede to the team, I do think our squad's looking a lot better on paper. Now, we do currently have 3 right-footed centre-backs in our back 3, which I'm not really too fussed about, as Hayden Carter does have 4-star weak foot, which will very soon be a 5-star weak foot, so he's more than capable of playing left centre-back. Now, with our remaining money, we are actually going to convert one loan into a permanent deal, and that is Ben Krizien of Aston Villa. He's 65 rated, 19 years old, and I do think he will grow by quite a lot in a Blackburn Rovers shirt. A very cheap deal for Krizien, as we've only had to pay Villa £1 million, and we are now left with £8 million in the bank, so our window is not yet finished. And I'm currently thinking, boys, I'm going to use this money to bring in a striker who I want to replace Gallagher, as he's 27-year-old, 69 rated, and I think we can do much better. So we have brought a striker into the football club, boys, and it's a player that I have wanted to use for quite a while, and that man is Sinclair Armstrong. I brought him in from Queen's Park Rangers for £1.5 million. He's got really good physical stats. He's 65 rated, 20-year-old. 6 foot tall. You're probably thinking he's 4 overalls less rated than Sam Gallagher, but he is 7 years younger, and I have only heard good things about this guy in FC24, so we had to bring him to Ewood Park. After the signing of Armstrong, we are left with £5 million, which we are going to use to bring in coaches, renew contracts, bring in youth players, and save this money for next season to get an even bigger budget. And now that does mean this will be the Blackburn Rovers team to take us into season 1. I think we've definitely added some really good young high potential players all across the team. I do think we now have a better chance of staying in the championship, which is the ultimate goal of season 1. We will now simulate forward straight through to the end of season 1 and see if we did survive, and if there's been any player outgoings, I will let you know about them at the end of the season. So we've arrived at the end of season 1, boys, and you know what, this has surprised me a little bit. We've actually finished 6th, sneaking into the playoffs. Well, I said sneaking, we were 8 points clear of Coventry in 7th, but we were in the playoffs, boys. Finished 6th, meaning we'll take on Norwich over 2 legs with a chance to join already promoted Leeds and Preston in the Premier League. It's mad to think that I was thinking we could genuinely get relegated this season and we finished in the playoffs. And oh my god, boys, I do not believe it. We have been promoted to the Premier League in season 1 with Blackburn beating Luton 1-0 playoff final. We did manage to get the better of Norwich 5-3 over 2 legs. Just goes to show how cruel the playoffs can be. And the 6th place side, us Blackburn, were in the Premier League next season. Lads, 2nd place in the Championship Preston won the FA Cup, beating Spurs in the final. They are genuinely cursed. They are never winning a trophy. However, we did make it to the 5th round where West Ham United beat us on penalties. Absolutely no shame in that, and we have had a really solid season all round. So this is how the team is looking heading into the Premier League, and I have to say, boys, it is going to take a monumental effort to keep this squad of players in the Premier League next season. Our standout players, obviously, Sammy Schmodix, and then Hayden Carter and Charlie Cresswell are both 74 rated as well. We do have a lot of weak areas of this team which we really do need to address. I think going into season 2, we absolutely have to sign a new goalkeeper to replace Piers and a centre-back to replace Hyam. I think by bringing in a new goalkeeper and centre-back, we definitely reduce the chances of conceding loads of goals. And if we have any spare money, I'm thinking I'm going to have to bring in a new wing-back, replacing either Pickering or Britton. We'll have to see who's available on the market, but we definitely need to bolster our defence if we've got any chance of staying up. And Schmodix definitely did chip in with some goals this season. He got 19 goals and 9 assists, a massive help for us. Sinclair Armstrong was excellent, grew by 5 overalls, got 16 goals, 6 assists. Harry Leonard was excellent as well, growing by 6 overalls, 16 goals, 10 assists. And Keon Dreddy was an outstanding signing. He scored 13 goals and got 12 assists as well. Now, we did actually have quite a few outgoings in season 1, and I'll run you through them right now. Zach Gilsenan went out on loan to Salmonspor for a season. We loaned out Tyree Stolen to Crystal Palace for a season. We also loaned out Dylan Markande to Coventry City for a season. Tom Aitchinson left the club on loan to Drogheda United. Connor O'Rodion went to Brescia on loan. We sold Sam Gallagher to Ghent for 1.5 million. We sold Joe Rankin Costello to Sheffield United for 2.25 million. We sold Arna Sigurdsson to Karamuksuk for 2.6 million. And we also sold Ryan Hedges to West Brom for 1.4 million. So plenty money coming into the club in season 1. I'm hoping we've got a massive budget in season 2. Let's get into season 2 and keep Blackburn in the Premier League. So we've arrived in season 2 and we've got a very healthy transfer budget of £69 million, which is really going to help us out in our challenge to stay in the Premier League. So kicking off our transfer window, boys, we definitely need to bring in a new wing back in this transfer window, and we have identified Ryan A. Nouri of Wolverhampton Wanderers. He's 23 years old, 80 rated, got really nice stats both offensively and defensively, and he does fall into our transfer capabilities, as Wolves will want a maximum of £32 million for him. We're going to try and get him quite a bit cheaper than that and bring him to Ewood Park this season. And we have brought Ryan A. Nouri to the club for 27 million, and this is a real statement signing. And we now have 38 million to bring in a goalkeeper and a centre back, but we do have some players listed for transfer which will hopefully bring us in some more funds. Now in this transfer window we do also need a goalkeeper, and I'm going to go for a player I have used in the past who is a very good goalkeeper in FC24, and that man is Jonas Urbig of FC Cologne. He's 20 years old, 74 rated, got pretty decent stats. Not the best goalkeeper right now, but this man does grow to very high 80s in FC24, and we can get him for under 10 million, which is a massive boost. And we have signed Jonas Urbig for £9 million. So we've brought in a wing back, a goalkeeper. All that's left to do now is bring in a centre back to the football club, and we have identified Hiroyuki Aito of Stuttgart. He's 79 rated, rated, 25 years old, but his stats are so well rounded, and he is actually a left-footed centre-back, meaning he'll slot in nicely on the left-hand side of our defence. He's got a good number of play styles as well, and looking at his valuation, Stuttgart will want a maximum of 23 million, so we can definitely sign him. Let's get this man brought to Ewood Park. And Hiroki Ito is in for 21 million pounds. And do you know what, lads? We do actually still have 12 million pounds in the bank, so I'm not ruling out another signing in this window. Now, I have just done one of the most controversial things I have done yet in FC24. And if you are a Blackburn Rovers fan, I'm not too sure how you're going to take this next bit of news. I used the 12 million pounds we had remaining to bring in another centre-back to the club. And this time we have actually raided Blackburn's biggest rivals, Burnley, and taken Amin Al-Dakil off them for just £5 million. He's 74 rated, his stats are amazing. He is swapping claret and blue for blue and white. He's seen the light and left Burnley, joined Blackburn, and this guy has got really good potential in FC24. And after the signing of Al-Dakil, our transfer window is definitely finished, and this is how the Blackburn Rovers team is going to look going into season 2 and our first in the Premier League. I think it would be an absolutely massive achievement if we keep this squad of players in the Premier League. I do think we've got an outside chance. I do think we'll have a better squad on paper than likes of Preston. Just hope we have got enough to stay up. We do still have 3 million left in our transfer budget for bringing in coaches, renewing contracts and bringing in youth players. And there have been some outgoings to get through before we press on into season 2. Connor O'Rodion has joined Cardiff City on loan for the season. Harry Pickering was sold to Getafe for 3.4 million. Dominic Hayam was sold to Trabzonspor for 1.7 million. Leopold Waldstedt was sold to Norwich for 1.5 million. Rounding off our outgoings for this transfer window, if any more take place, I will let you know at the end of the season, and that is where we are going right now as we are simulating straight through to the end of season 2. I am just hoping and praying to see Blackburn still a Premier League side heading into season 3. So rather than the season 2, and we did achieve our goal of Premier League survival, actually being quite comfortable in the end, finishing 13th in the league on 45 points. We did finish a whopping 17 points clear of the relegation places. So season 3, we are still in the Premier League and we need to start focusing on getting up that league table. The FA Cup, it was once again 5th round disappointment as Everton beat us 3-2. So this is how the team is looking at the end of season 2, and it is starting to look like a proper Premier League side, with Ryan Ait-Nouri and Ito being our best players by some distance. Kyoindredi, Cresswell, Al-Dakil, Urbig and Leonard have all had good seasons as well in terms of growth, but looking at that team, it is very obvious to me where we need to improve. Sinclair Armstrong is a very good young striker who's still developing, so he will not be getting moved on. We're going to give him one more season to grow. Alan Britton at right wing back has to be moved on. He's 27 years old, 64 rated. He is no longer good enough for us, so I'm not anticipating us getting a very big budget in season 3, so our entire budget might go into getting a right wing back. If we do have any spare money, I will be looking to replace Buckley in centre midfield. So a right wing back and a centre midfielder are on the cards if we have enough money in season 3. So in terms of stats, once again, Sammy Smodics was our best player, getting 20 goals and 5 assists. Harry Leonard had a great season once again, getting 19 goals and 11 assists, and Sinclair Armstrong was very good, getting 16 and 8. We are now getting into season 3, bringing in some new players and trying to get maybe into the top half of the Premier League. So we've arrived in season 3 and we do have quite a low transfer budget of just £42 million. So as we know, boys, in this transfer window, our primary target is to bring a right wing back to the football club, and we have found a very cheap, high potential youngster in Ivan Fresnada, currently playing in Portugal for Sporting. He's 76 rated, 20 years old. He's really well rounded and got plenty of play styles, and we can actually get him for as little as 11.5 million, which I think is an absolute steal, and we are definitely bringing this man to Ewood Park. And Fresnada is ours for just £12.3 million, and that actually leaves us with £34 million in the bank, as we have sold a few players, and that means we can bring in a really good set of midfielder to replace Buckley. And honestly, boys, we have just signed a player who I have been desperate to use since FC24 come out, and this is the first time I've ever signed him. Angel Gomez has joined the club from Rayo Vallecano for £38.5 million. He's 24 years old, 82 rated. really, really well-rounded, and he will slot in very nicely in the heart of our midfield, and I am absolutely buzzing with the 2 signings we've made this season. And to get this deal over the line, we did have to sell some of our players. Alan Britton has joined Leeds United for 3.6 million. Scott Wharton has joined AZ Alkmaar for 1.6 million, and we did sell John Buckley to Bournemouth for 8.6 million as well. Now, we do have 7 million remaining in the bank, but we are going to use this for all other stuff like bringing in coaches and youth players. So as of right now, there'll be no more incomings in this window, and this will be the Blackburn Rovers team to take us into season 3. Adding Gomez and Fresnada to our team has definitely made the right side of our team better. I do expect players like Coindredi, Aldakil and Urbig to reach 80 rated this season, and I'm really, really hopeful we can finish in the top half of the Premier League this season. So our transfer window is now over, boys. No further incomings or outgoings have occurred in this transfer window. We are now simulating forward straight through to the end of season 3, and I'm really hoping we can get into the top half of the Premier League. So we've arrived at the end of season 3, boys, and what a season we have had. We have finished 7th in the Premier League, literally just 8 points off a European place. I am absolutely buzzing with how we have done this season, and with the right additions in the summer, we can definitely push on and try to get into Europe next year. In the FA Cup, it's a 3rd consecutive year of going out in the 5th round. This time Brighton absolutely bounced us 4-1. So this is the Blackburn Rovers team at the end of season 3, and it's really starting to take shape now. The only players under 80 rated in our starting 11 are Charlie Cresswell, Aldakil and Sinclair Armstrong. We do have a very, very strong team now on paper. Now, going in to season 4, I do think it's time to replace Sinclair Armstrong. He's a really good striker. I think he'll be good off the bench. I want to bring someone in who is higher rated if we're going to have any chance of getting into Europe. And I'm also thinking, boys, I'm going to replace one of Aldakil or Charlie Cresswell in this window. I need to be bringing players into the football club who are over 80 rated, who can get us into European competition. So a striker and a centre-back are definitely on the cards in season 4. In terms of stats, Harry Leonard was by far our best player, scoring 26 goals in 44 games. And then there's a big drop off from there, boys, and Sinclair Armstrong was our next top scorer, getting 12 goals. So that's a massively successful 3rd season boxed off. Let's now get into season 4 and get some more star quality through the door. We've arrived in season 4, boys, and we have got 64 million to spend. And we have had some excellent news. We will be in the Europa League this season, as our 7th place finish has actually managed to get us European football, which I am buzzing about. And I just want to point out, we might not be able to bring in a centre-back in this window, because we have just made our most expensive signing today in the striker position, and this is an absolutely thrilling signing. We have signed Marcus Leonardo from Atalanta for 52.5 million. He is 83 rated and 23-year-old. His stats are an absolute joke. This man definitely elevates Blackburn to the next level, and that leaves us with just 8 million in the bank. So if we do not manage to sell any players in this window, no centre-back is joining us. And if Leonardo is the only business we do this summer, I'm still made up with that acquisition. And you know what, boys? I'm going to make the call now. We have got quite a few players out of contracts at the end of the season who are going to demand big wages. So Leonardo will be the only incoming of this summer transfer window. We've arrived at the end of the transfer window, and because we've only made one signing, we have not allowed anyone to leave the football club. We're keeping the squad together going into season 4. Our Europa League group has been drawn, and we have got Valencia, Bodo Glimt and Zurich. That is actually a very, very difficult group, considering this is the Europa League. I do think we should be able to get through it, and there's only one way to find out if we will, and that's by simulating forward straight through to the end of season 4. I want to see some good progress made in the Europa League, and I'd love for us to sneak into the top 4. So we have arrived at the end of season 4, and what a season we have had. We have finished 2nd in the Premier League, but just look at how clear Manchester City were this season. They won the league on 93 points, and we were the closest challengers with 68 points, and we managed to secure 2nd place by 1 goal scored over Arsenal, as we did finish on the same goal difference and the same points. And you know what that means now, boys? We have got to start getting 84 rated plus players, 83 rated plus players into Blackburn to get us as far as possible in the Champions League. And in the FA Cup, we did make the quarter-final, but unfortunately Spurs knocked us out 2-1. But we have won our first major trophy of the rebuild, winning the Carabao Cup. We beat Chelsea 2-1 in the final. It's not very often we actually win this competition, so I'm absolutely absolutely buzzing. And this would be Blackburn's first major trophy since 1994. What an achievement. So this is how the team is looking at the end of season 4, and I have to say we have definitely got a Champions League level squad on paper. So many players now over 85 rated. We do have some weak points of the team, and unfortunately Sammy Schmodix is one of them at 82 rated, but we are going to give Schmodix one more season as a Blackburn Rovers first team starter. Then we may have to look to replace him in season 6, but for season 5 he will still be in the team despite being 32 years old. The area I'm looking at though to improve is definitely the centre back slash right wing back position. Fresneda has just not grown anywhere near enough. He's only 81 rated. We'll have a look over the summer and see if he develops any more, and if he doesn't we may have to replace him, but we are definitely going to have to bring in a world class centre back to go into our back three, as Creswell and Aldakil are good centre backs but they are not quite world class. So we'll definitely be bringing in a centre back who's at least 84 rated, and then we will look to bring in a right wing back if Fresneda does not develop, but this is all dependent on budget. And just to let you know, next season we will be without Sinclair Armstrong. He did hand in a transfer request, so we sold him to Newcastle for 27 million. Now in terms of stats, what a signing Marcus Leonardo was. 33 goals, 6 assists, by far our best player, but Harry Leonard was outstanding this season. 21 goals, 3 assists, grown by 5 overalls to 85 rated. What a player we've got on our hands there, only 23 years old as well. So season 4 was another roaring success. We are now progressing on into season 5, our first in the Champions League, and we are going to have a real good go at that competition. So we have arrived in season 5, and oh my god, we have got 153 million in the bank, which means we can massively improve our starting 11. And kicking off our transfer window, we are bringing in a centre back which we desperately need, and this man is one of the best young centre backs in the world right now, Jared Bramthwaite, who is currently playing for Atalanta. His stats are excellent. He's 25-year-old, 84 rated. This man is exactly what we need at the back, as he falls well into our price range, as Atalanta will want a maximum of 64 million for him. And what a signing this is. Bramthwaite joins us for 53 million. And boys, I could be about to pull off one of the best deals we've done in FC24 so far. Jeremy Frimpong's contract is expiring in 12 months time. He's 26-year-old, 88 rated. Them stats are actually perfect, and boys, we can get him for as little as 61 million as his contract is expiring. This is an absolute no-brainer. He would instantly be our best player, and he falls well into our price range. We are absolutely signing this man. And boys, we have probably just signed the best wing back in the game right now for 60 million pounds. What an absolute steal. And after bringing in Bramthwaite and Frimpong, we do actually still have 52 million pounds in our bank. Now just look at the absolute state of our team, boys. That team is ridiculous on paper, and I genuinely think we are the dark horses in the Champions League this season. That team can beat anyone. We've arrived at the end of the transfer window, boys. We have sold some youth players, and some first team players have left the club as well. Jack Vale has left to CF Montreal for 1.3 million. Connor O'Rodion will spend the season on loan at AZ Alkmaar, and Zach Gilsonen will spend the season on loan at Rangers. That means our transfer window is now finished, and our Champions League group has been drawn, and unfortunately, boys, we are in the group of death. We've got Juventus, Wolfsburg and Galatasaray. This is a really strong group, and I think any of these teams can go through, but we do have an amazing team on paper, so I definitely fancy our chances. Let's now simulate forward straight through to the end of season 5 and see how we got on. So we've arrived at the end of season 5, boys, and as you can see, we actually finished 4th in the Premier League, which is a bit of a regression on last season. However, we did pick up 6 more points, receiving 74 points. Manchester City did once again win the Premier League. They dominated once again. However, the standard of the league definitely improved as multiple sides reached 80 points. I am pretty impressed with our performance on the pitch. We have progressed in a way as we've got more points than last season in a more difficult league. So no matter what, in season 6, Blackburn are in the Champions League once again. And lads, we come so close to winning the FA Cup. However, Arsenal beat us in the final on penalties. We beat them to 4th spot in Champions League football, but Arsenal have beaten us in the FA Cup final, and that is absolutely heartbreaking. But boys, in our first season in the Champions League, we have managed to reach the final, and I have to say, we did have a pretty favourable run in the knockout stages. So in the group stages, we didn't lose a single game, got 12 points, drew 3, won 3, and topped our group, which is very impressive because that's a difficult group. In the round of 16, we did get FC Porto, who we beat 5-3 over 2 legs. And then the FC24 gods were clearly smiling down on us as they give us RB Salzburg in the quarterfinals, who we beat 5-3 over 2 legs. Second leg, much tighter than the first leg. And then that would set up our first real challenge of the knockout stages, Bayer Leverkusen, who we beat 3-2 over 2 legs, to set up a final against Manchester City, who have been dominating English football in this rebuild. So heading into the final, this is the Blackburn Rovers team, and this could be one of the best teams we've ever had. Branthwaite and Frimpong 89 rated, Nuri 88 rated along with Aitor. We then have Coindredi, Leonard and Leonardo all 90 rated. I'm so excited to use that front two. In terms of stats, Harry Leonard has been an absolute monster in this rebuild, and he once again proved why. 39 goals in 58 games, that's insane. Now all that's left to do is head to the San Siro for an all-English Champions League final against the best team in England, Manchester City. Here we go, boys. This is going to be a crazy final. The best team in England, Man City, who have been dominating the Premier League, you know. Blackburn Rovers. Now, City do have Erling Haaland, Phil Foden, Malcolm, Kovacic on the pitch when you tackle Haaland early. Oh, no. Oh, no. Great save by Erling Haaland in just 5 minutes, already having a sight of goal. That's a ball at wide to Frimpong, who's quicker than Guardiola. Across, Smodics! Oh no, what a block by John Stones. If there was anyone I wanted to score in this game, it's Sammy Smodics, and Stones breaks our hearts. But we've got to be careful, but that's a really poor ball from Rodrigo. Great tackle by Branthwaite, but Malcolm still has the ball, and that's great. Oh no, Haaland again, what a save. Oh my god, the ball is just pinning around everywhere. I thought he'd won the ball back twice with Branthwaite then. Clearly not. And City have had 2 massive sights of goal in this first half an hour. And Ruben Diaz out to Guardiola. This City team is so good, boys. We're not really getting much of the ball in this game. Oh no, Haaland again. He's not going to keep missing. That's one thing we have to... Oh no, Foden. What a block. What a block. We are so under the cosh right now. Can't lie, boys. Our first half that's been very, very much dominated by Manchester City. We are now going to go to half-time. It's 0-0. Probably lucky to not be losing, but all that matters is we're not losing, and we've got another 45 minutes to nick a winner. Marcus Leonardo. Leonard's gone the wrong way. Let's have a dig. Oh, it's a great save by Edison. If Leonard went the wrong way, I needed him to run to the middle so I could square it, and he ran towards me for some reason. Vitina. Oh, what a tackle by Cresswell. What a tackle by Charlie Cresswell. Leonard, you've got to make a run. Harry, come on. Come on. Oh, he's quicker than him. He's quicker than him. Harry Leonard. It's 1-0 to Blackburn in the final, and it's our academy graduate, Harry Leonard, who makes it 1-0 to Rovers. Well, at least I think he's from Blackburn's academy. And wow, a goal-saving challenge at one end from Charlie Cresswell. An amazing pass to put Leonard in. He's got too much pace for the defender, and I just finesse shot it so gorgeously into that side netting. And could this be the goal that wins us the Champions League? This has been a very tough final. There's 25 minutes left to go. It's nowhere near game over. Oh, I don't like this at all. Pedersen. Oh, it's over the bar. Oh, Gomez gives it away in a bad spot. And makes a terrible tackle. It could be off. That could be a red card for Angel Gomez. It is a red card. We're going to play the last few minutes down to 10 men. It wasn't a good tackle by Gomez. And wow, this is going to be a massive couple of minutes. It is a poor tackle off the ball. Is it a red card in real life? Absolutely no chance. But we're going to have to play injury time with 10 men. Smodic can drop into that midfield role. That's got to be offside from Rodrigo, no? Oh no, Haaland. Haaland, what a block by Aitor. What a block again. No, what a miss from Vitina, are you joking? And that's lost them the game, we've won the Champions League. What a chance for Vitina. The man who got Angel Gomez sent off has just smashed it into Rowe's head. And we have won the Champions League final 1-0 in the end. And how lucky did we just get? And it's going to be the man, Sammy Smodics. Who else would lift the Champions League trophy for Blackburn? What a player he is. And all that's left to do is lift the trophy, boys. Blackburn Rovers are the champions of Europe, and that's another rebuild successfully boxed off. So I can't lie, boys, we have had a bit of luck on this rebuild with the run we had to the Champions League final, but I really do not care. What a performance in the final from players like Erbig in goal and Sammy Smodics doing his defensive duties. As a whole, I think this has been one of my most enjoyable rebuilds. We've built a superb team on paper, ground out a really hard-fought win in the Champions League final. It does not get much better than that. If you have enjoyed, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. It would really help me out. Now, I am on holiday next week, so I'm not too sure if there's going to be a video, but the next team we are going to be doing is from the Spanish 2nd Division.